and we'll just cut the video in the archive. Hey everybody. Good morning. It's June 16th, 2018. My name is Jeff Fritz, and we had a false start there on the stream. It sounds like something, a little hiccup on the way to getting broadcast. Today we're listening to Red from Carl Franklin in the background here. This is music to code by. It's music that's been scientifically engineered to get you in the groove, to get you listening, to get you focused in exactly, on task for whatever it is that you're working on. You can check that out at mtcb.pwop.com. You can ask the bot in the chat room about the music, and it'll give you a link where you can go to download that. All right. How you doing, Claire? You able to see everything now? Yeah, it works. Oh, good. All right. So, it was a big week this week. Thursday, we had our friend Isaac Levin on, and Isaac showed us how to use application insights with ASP.NET Core. We ran into a little bit of a problem with some of the deployment in there and some of the connectivity to Twitter authentication. We got a fix for that that I put in place way later in the show after talking to Barry Dorans. I encourage you to check out the end of that YouTube video, and you'll see exactly what the fix was for both issues that we had that day. Nothing like troubleshooting first thing on Saturday. Amen, Claire. It's it's always a challenge, right? Got to wake up and have some coffee, do some debugging there. And man, I got to fix that calendar link. What was wrong with the stream, Braga asks. Not sure. I started the broadcast, I connected up. Everything here from OBS on my side looked like it was broadcasting properly. The data that I had on my Twitch dashboard here showed that I was publishing bits at a good rate out to Twitch, but something happened and it wasn't quite broadcasting properly. So that was Thursday. Friday, of course, was F Sharp Friday, and we spent some time. That's me on Friday, of course, learning F Sharp with friends in the chat room, helping out and giving pointers, and there's other folks learning as well in the chat room, and we had a good time learning how to use Entity Framework from F Sharp. We wrote just to a little SQLite database, but it'll be the same thing when we want to write to SQL Server or some other database because of using that ORM, right? That object relational mapper allows us to target different databases and use the same API no matter what, right? That's that abstraction layer that's so nice to have in there. Now, the big news yesterday was we're starting preparation of the Visual Studio Twitch account. And if you go over to twitch.tv/Visual Studio, you'll see Visual Studio is auto-hosting me now. So I'm the first broadcast over there on Visual Studio. Hello, Visual Studio viewers, if you're over there. And we're going to build that up. We're going to turn that into something, but for right now, it's just going to auto-host a couple of developer streamers. But look for an announcement from us in the next month or two as we build out exactly what we want to do with the Visual Studio stream. I think it's going to be really exciting. Our friends Scott Hanselman and Suze Hinton are working with me to really make that into something special, something that's going to be a great experience for developers, and you're going to be able to get all kinds of great developer content over there. And if we do it right, you'll be able to get developer content 24/7, no matter what time zone you're in. Oh yes. Oh, and this is just starting. I've got many plans over there, and if we do it right, of course, we're gonna stuff that you'll see over on the Visual Studio channel will be world exclusive. They say that so much at the Xbox E3 stuff. Any comment on why Twitch and not Mixer? There's a gigantic audience here on Twitch. We think that the broadcast facilities on Twitch are really great. There's been some discussion with Mixer, and Mixer is focusing right now on game content. That's right. World exclusive. I love it, Teddies. Yes. It's that's their thing. All right. So, I can't get enough coffee this morning after having that little blip getting started. So, I hope you go over and throw a follow on the Visual Studio channel, and we're gonna see what that turns into. I'm really excited for this project and driving some content there and really making it into something special. All right. Also, check it out if you look at the events. The events here, nothing happened. Kappa. Twitch didn't pick up the broadcast. Did I get a few hours of sleep? Yes, I did. Glue Brain, thank you so much for the follow. I appreciate the follow. And I missed saluting, is that Snicky or is that Snicey over there? Thank you for the follow. I appreciate you joining us. So I've updated the events list here. So in the box at the bottom there, you'll see all the different events that I'll be appearing at. Dev Intersection Tech Bash Developer Week is about 9 days out. And I need to practice my keynote that I'm going to be delivering there. But you're also going to see an entry there for .NET Conf. .NET Conf is coming up in September. 2 days broadcast live from Microsoft Studios, but the third day is going to be 24 hours broadcast live from every time zone in, hopefully, some local languages instead of just English. So, we're really looking forward to that. Oh, Teddy's, thank you so much for the follow. Steve, you're a little busy here this morning. You're going to work up a sweat here, Steve. All right. So, walk with me. We're going to go over here. I want to spend some time today talking about authorization with ASP.NET Core. But I took a wander over into our GitHub repository here, and I noticed there's a bunch of great pull requests, and I want to go through those first before we get in and we start working on the code that I want to build out here today. So, and of course, we'll help drive more folks onto our GitHub scoreboard up at the top when I flip over to our coding view. And we want to celebrate and recognize those folks that have helped out in our community by contributing some code and participated in the show here. So the first project I want to start with is Stream Tools. And Stream Tools, of course, is an ASP.NET Core application that helps to deliver some of the widgets that you see here on screen. Actually, none of the widgets that you see right now on screen. Let's go over to our full code view. The widgets that you see here below me, the follower count, the viewer count, and we'll see that stock ticker. I call it a stock ticker, but it's a scoreboard ticker that appears up at the top. And we'll see if we can kick that and get it reloaded. There it comes. So there's our ticker with the list of folks that have contributed. And you can see there's no contributors this week yet. Nemanja has been working on the top command. This will be a command that you can execute in the chat room and get that list of top committers. And there was another comment on here. Change top command, make use of DI and HTTP factory. Try to use name clients for the proxy class, had some issues, decided not to go that way. Looks like there was a slight refactoring that bumped out Docker Compose and the test projects. But this is still marked as work in progress, so I'm not going to merge it just yet. The other one here is from Parathon, fix the regex pattern and adjusted replacement text to allow Twitter's chat to make hyperlinks clickable. Solves 122. 122 is the chatbot links, like the one we saw up there for the calendar. Needs to be reformatted so it works well in the chat room. So it looks like Parathon's got a fix here. Let's take a look at the file that changed. So it's this regex, and it's doing a regex looking for a URL. And it looks like just stripping it out. So I tell you what, I'm okay with that regex. Let's do the merge. Yep, do it. Thanks for the contribution. All right. And we should see the ticker up top there refresh in just a minute or so here. And hopefully this was just committed within the last day. We should see it there. It's clear what that regex is doing. Yeah, I know. It's right when you look at what it is doing, it's only grabbing the first group and replacing it with empty. It's removing it and then outputting it, that text. So I'm okay with what it's doing there. I've got a question about something I found in Visual Studio. Feels like a bug, but maybe you can tell me what you think. Sure. There's the refresh, and it's not showing the new update just yet. Alright, maybe it'll update after the next one or two that we have patched here. Sometimes GitHub doesn't recalculate the statistics immediately when you merge something. Go ahead, President. Not sure. What's the question you have? And let's see, is there anybody over in the Visual Studio chat room? Yeah, there's a couple folks over there. All right. Oh, it's so clear what the regex is doing. Clear as mud. All right. Let's Okay. Let's wander over. I'm going to end up working today in CoreWiki. And I'm going to take a look first at .NET Philly. Now, this is a command line tool that I've started and I'm working on to allow you to download samples and make them available easily on your machine. And Parathon has another commit here that allows you to build a details option. Since we're limiting the characters within a column, showing the list of samples that are available, let's give a details option to display the full contents of the columns. So the idea here is you can say .NET samples, and it'll show you, here's the samples that are available, and then you can specify .NET samples, some name, and then it installs. But that list of samples has a short 80-character description. Well, if there's something longer that describes what's going on, it'd be nice to be able to show those details. And what he's done is he's added a details parameter that says if details, retrieving sample details from the registry, output sample details. And if we scroll down here somewhere, this looks like a spacing change. Output sample details. Name, command, URL, and then description on separate lines. Seems simple enough. Alright. Cool. Hey, Program with Dan. Alright, President, not sure. You've got a bunch of ASP.NET Core projects and a few different solutions. Yeah. And then what? I'm going to merge this one as well. Very cool. This makes the tool more usable. Thanks for the contribution. Alright, comment. And there we see the refresh, and it didn't pick up the Stream Tools update again. If I try to add that dependency via the IDE, it won't let me, gives an error message. But I can edit the csproj file and add the reference that way. I need to see some more details about what you're describing, President. Not sure. All right. So let's go back. It will add the reference, but when I build, I get an error that the project is invalid. Yeah, I need to see what your configuration looks like. So let's take a look at CoreWiki next. So this is a project that we have been working on. It's a very simple, basic ASP.NET Core Wiki that uses Razor Pages, uses Entity Framework just to read and write data back and forth to a database. Very simple, small database. So the idea here is this is something that we can learn on, and as we add new features, we're learning how to use other techniques and technologies. Thank you for the follow, Dark Hark. I nearly thought it said Dark Hawk. I look forward to seeing you in the chat room, Dark Hark. So if I add the project, I want to refer to the solution first, then add the reference, and it works. So it's like by manually editing the CS project file, I'm able to do something that I shouldn't be allowed to do, add a reference to a project not in the same solution. Yeah. That should be actually okay in the new world where folks aren't necessarily building applications in Visual Studio. So this is the CoreWiki project. It's open source, available for anybody to check out, build, deploy wherever you'd like. I've got a number of issues here that we're working through and that we're trying to figure out. Here it is. This is the login issue that we had. During the stream on Thursday, Jeff tried to add Twitter as an option, but when you click the Twitter button, it didn't work. When I looked into the issue, I figured out that the value attribute on the Twitter button, which would be the provider parameter, was never passed to the login page. And this is what I explained in that video, is that this drops. It doesn't send the name of the provider, Twitter, to the website and says, oh, we need to go authenticate with Twitter and pass all the information over there. President, that shouldn't be a problem. You should be able to work with that. Visual Studio could get cranky with it. But if you weren't in Visual Studio, if you were working in VI or brackets or, Sublime, it wouldn't matter what solution it's in. You're referencing another project, and you're going to need to compile that other project as well. Solution is just the container that allows you to compile them and get easy references. After digging around, I found the following code. So it's this JavaScript here where it disables the button was the problem. I presume this is because the button is disabled, blah, blah, blah. So Parathon actually put together a pull request to fix this. And let's... Where is it? There's a thing here. I thought there was a thing that allowed you to turn off... Oh, wait. Let's do this. Where is it? Added a commit. Yeah. It's in a pull request over here. This one. Now if I looked at files changed, there we go. Hide white space. Full count. Thank you for the follow. I appreciate you joining us. All right. So simplified a couple things in here. Now using the auth builder object that we created here to create and add authentication, and then if there's a Microsoft account, add the Microsoft account. If there's, and this is just a cleanup because we have both Microsoft account and Twitter, and we want to conditionally add them. I'm not sure if this is helpful, but Scott Allen has a really nice discussion about structuring your .NET Core projects, and some of your questions sounds like things he answered. Oh, that's for President, not sure, I think. Visual Studio won't build when I manually add a project reference. Hey, Ace Flames here. Thanks for joining us. Good to see you. I would prefer to use NuGet. However, that's not something I can do with this application. All right. So if we scroll down, here's the actual fix. Is down here in the JavaScript. And I like this approach. I actually wrote something that just said, if we're in this form, then don't disable the button. But I like this. If whatever was clicked, this object, right, using that jQuery this parsing, right, wrap it and get access to some additional handy features to access things like the attributes. If it has an attribute named attempted and it has a value of true, prevent default. Otherwise, add the attribute attempted and set the value to true. So this prevents the double click problem. I suggest adding the validate option to those external login configurations. What do you mean by the validate? Give me some details. What you mean by adding the validate? I like this approach, but it has a slight conflict with some of the files that I had changed and updated there. So what I'm going to do is bring down the changes and work on this locally, and we'll get not PowerShell, PowerShell. All right. So I will do that checkout and merge. Hey, Kazru, good to see you. Now, I don't care about the conflicts on site min.js. In fact, I'm going to just delete that. All right. So that's one less thing. But we're actually going to... it didn't actually delete that file, did it? Nope, it's there. All right. That site min.js is actually rebuilt each time. It checks that all the information has been added correctly for Twitter and Microsoft secrets rather than giving a general exception. Do you have a link or something that shows me where you're pulling that from? Because I haven't seen that anywhere. Should min.js? Exactly, Joe Bun. That's exactly what I was just thinking. Let's go into git ignore, because anything that's a min.js shouldn't be committed into source control. Let's see here. No. I'm gonna add a section down here. Minified and generated files. And star.min.js. Okay. All right. I'm not going to be able to just remove it from the entire archive of history. Let's see, what do we got here? All right, so I'm going to start looking at these files. So I don't care about the site min.js. I should just add that now to get it out of the way. No, wrong one. Cool, 2 to go. Site.js and Identity Hosting Startup. So let's take a look at Identity Hosting Startup, which I think is going to be pretty clear that we want to take. We want to take the change that's been suggested, which is this block down here. Yeah, I'm pretty okay with that structure. Actually, I think it looks the same, but I will take that one. That was easy. And the other one was site.js. Here it is. So you can see my change. I just said if this form is the external login, just pass through. But I really like what Parathon has done here to say, well, right, to do this check, I might need to do a get rm cached. You're right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to accept Parathons, and I think that works. I think that works a lot better than the solution that I had put together. So let's do a get rm cached, and that was CoreWiki root js site min js. Yeah, didn't find it. That's fine, because it shows it as deleted here, so I think we're okay. I think we can add the other files, and let's commit merged and removed sitemin.js from from repository. This is a generated file. So I should be able to do a .NET build, not .NET build, and we should be able to get that file regenerated for us. And there it is right there. You can't see it. It's behind my head. There it is right there. Cool. All right. So I've committed those changes. I will now merge. And good things happen. All right. Let's clean up some of these extra branches. All right. Cool. And we should see the merge. There it is. Fantastic. I like your solution. Thanks for looking into this and submitting a fix. Awesome. It's all right. It's added as an option. Option.validate. Yeah, I need I need some sort of a pointer here. Now it tells me to refresh the scoreboard, but I don't see the updates. Let's keep going. I'll force an update there in a minute. There's Parathon's update on .NET Philly. All right. And still nothing on Stream Tools. Next pull request here. Enhance page routes to satisfy change route definition. So the edit and delete routes will now work. This is how I wanted to have our routes. / whatever the name of the article is, / edit or / delete. That I like a heck of a lot better. Let's take a look at the files that were changed. So on get, on the delete model, is receiving the string, the name of the article that we're receiving. We call it a slug, because it's reformatted and makes it a little bit more HTML friendly. So we just make sure that it actually exists, or return the not found, and then goes and finds the article that has a matching slug name. Post is receiving the slug, find the article that has a matching slug, and delete. Okay. Right, remove it, save changes, and redirect back to the all page. Argentina and Iceland are tied 1-1 at about the 82-minute mark. Oh, man. Long link. All right, let's see what you got there. Where did it go? Here it is. Where did it go? I just had it. Here it is. Twitter options.validate. Andre Costa, thank you for the follow. I appreciate you joining us. Your neighbors are carrying on, huh? Added the validate method to ensure the customer key and customer secret values are not empty for the Twitter authentication middleware. And that's on Twitter options.validate. Well, my problem wasn't that the secrets and key were empty. My problem was, and let me show this before I get to the next, before I get into this. The problem that this JavaScript solved was in the pages here. When you submitted to the external login page model, right, there's a post that happens here on line 55, and this post, the provider value that was coming in was null. So when this ran, sign-in manager configure external authentication properties, it was receiving null and redirect URL to go back to the login page. Well, it saw this null and just crapped out and returned and said, well, I don't know where to go, and it returned right back to the same page. So the option validate might be nice when we're configuring the options here. And I get, you know, that might make this a little bit cleaner. But I'm okay with this if syntax here. It's for when future people start to deploy and get errors on Azure for the Microsoft side as well. Let me come back to that. Let me finish doing the review of this, and maybe we'll add that in. MattTheDev.net. Hey, Matt the Dev. Thanks so much for joining us. I appreciate the follow. Look forward to seeing you in the chat room. Happy to answer any of your questions, any of our new followers. Always happy to answer your questions in the chat room. Please, don't, you know, this is a very inclusive environment. We always want to hear from you. There's a great group of folks here that are, you can see they're chatting and helping each other in the room. So, join us, won't you? Thanks, Rick. Did you scaffold all the identity page? You have to do that now if you want customization. Kazru, you're absolutely right. I didn't scaffold it. I think Smab, are you the one who did the pull request that built out identity? It's and it's not bad. It works great for us. I think I can share this. Hang on. Isn't there a sticky notes? Let me do this. Can't I make that always on top? Isn't there a thing always on top? No. All right. I'm going to put that right there and make sure that we get back to that. Yeah, there we go. Smab did a great job with that, and I'm really happy with the contribution that he did in putting that out there and getting us started with authentication. Let me finish doing this review. I want to talk about some upcoming guests, and then we'll put that validate in there. So the edit page now receives the same slug, so we get this better formatted URL. And then if I scroll down here, article row. So this is a partial that gets included into our pages that has the edit and delete buttons on it. So now we're including as part of the route, not the ID, but the slug, okay? And we're including that slug value. And in the startup, we're changing the page routes to go, and that looks much, much nicer for the interaction. I want to see how this works, though. You know, Parathon's given us a couple of really nice commits here this week, but I want to try this out so I can navigate into the application and give it a shot. So, I thought I copied. There we go. So I'm just going to run a local, even though there's no conflict here, but I want to give it a try and see what it looks like. I tried to find a way to authorize the register page, but without scaffolding. You know a way to do that. To authorize the register page, you need to bring the register page out. So you will, but you don't need to scaffold everything. Scaffold, and why do you want to authorize the register page? The register page is where folks who are not logged in log into the web, register to be able to log into the website. So it sounds kind of counterproductive there, Kazaru. Give me let's talk that through a little bit. I want to make sure I want to make sure that you're that it makes sense what you're trying to do. Yeah, I think you're right, President. Not sure. Your register page should allow anonymous folks. Let's talk about that here in just a second. So here's my homepage. If I click edit on this, well, there's a problem. My edit button isn't going anywhere. Let me show you. If I mouse over the edit button over here, that looks like it's going somewhere. Oh, you know what? It's because this is doing edit, and we're on the home page. So I think we're kind of in a unique scenario. If I click through to home page, yeah, edit button doesn't work there. But if I click delete, right? So let's delete this one. Are you sure you want to delete this article? And check out the URL, /second article /delete. And if I click delete, cool, that's nice. I can't believe Ovechkin, right, actually won a cup. And if I click save, so I've still got this, right, it's in that better format that I like with the name of the article and then the action on the end. If I click save, it saves properly. So it looks like the only challenge we have is in editing the home page. So I like this. I'm not going to block it, but I think we need to open a an issue to say need to be able to edit the homepage. I like this update. It makes the URLs much more readable. Thanks for the contribution. We'll need to put together a fix for editing the home page. All right. Cool. One more down. So I'm just going to create a quick issue for that. Unable to edit the home page. The route for the home page edit link does not work. And I'll label this as a bug, and I'm going to mark this as a good first issue. So if you're interested in helping out, you want to get on our scoreboard up top there, check it out, and if you're able to figure out and put together a fix for this and we merge it, you'll get on the scoreboard up top and achieve fame and fortune. No, but this is a nice way for if you're interested in contributing, learning a little bit about open source, to jump in. There's a couple of issues here. If these are things that you're interested in, check it out. Put together a simple pull request. It might take you as long as 10-15 minutes if it's something that you're familiar with. And we'll talk about it, and we'll give you some credit here on the show. I'm working on some simple token gifts to some of our contributors. I want to put together some stickers, some other things to thank you, our community, for contributing and having a good time helping us out here on the show. This is fixed. Thanks for your help. All right. Awesome. Kazru, you'll look into that. That's great. I love getting GitHub mails before I have it on screen. Well, there is a little bit of latency here. I think they were saying it's about 5 seconds latency, but that's great, Moz. All right. Now let me come back to this. So upcoming guests regarding identity. I talked to a couple of our friends, some other folks in the .NET community, in the technical community. Yep, it is there in Visual Studio. If you tuned in way back in December when I had my first guest on, that was Iris Klassen, and we talked around an interesting software architecture challenge that she had. We didn't actually write too much code together, but we were talking around this very tricky problem that she was having. And she's tuned in and seen a couple of our shows here. And we're going to have her back in July as another pair programming guest. Also, Glenn Block, guy who used to work at Microsoft, good friend of mine. We're going to have him on, and we're going to talk a little bit with him in July as well. And Glenn recommended that as we're going through and talking about identity and working through some of these interesting bits here, that, you know what, we should have on really the authority on ASP.NET identity. And Vittorio, oh my gosh, I'm gonna just butcher his last name. I know how to pronounce his first name. It's Vittorio. He's an Italian gentleman, and Vittorio is an amazing technologist. He knows. There he is. He's Vibronet here on Twitter. I doesn't have his last name here, but there he is. You can see Vittorio. Very well known for that mane of hair he's got. Vittorio is going to join us in July as well. So 3 more guests that we're going to have here on the show. Pair programmers will write code together, and you'll be able to ask them questions. Look for them on our schedule. And let me make sure you see where the schedule is. Over here in my live stream repository. I'm actually going to make this a little bit easier to find. But here in our list of upcoming guests, so there's Glenn, and I need to add Vittorio to the list here. Glenn and Iris. Christina Warren, she's on the road right now, but she will be joining us very soon to talk about blogging for developers. Tuesday, Amanda Iverson will be joining us. It's been a long time since she played for the Sixers. She was a tremendous shooting guard for them. No. Amanda's an instructor at Code Fellows in Seattle. Great teacher, great technologist. She's going to join us and walk through some CoreWiki improvements. So we're looking forward to welcoming Amanda on Tuesday. Thursday, if you've seen me struggle with SignalR in the Stream Tools project, and how I've got a hub out there named GitHubby McGithubface. That's from our friend Rachel Opel. I've known Rachel for a long time, and we're gonna have some fun, and there'll be some shenanigans here on Thursday with Rachel on the stream. So that'll be a lot of fun. Here, let me show you what you're asking about, Kazru. Shenanigans of SignalR. I think that's a great title for that. Let me show you, Kazru, exactly what it is. The scaffolding. So I'm in Visual Studio Code over here, and I just picked Visual Studio Code because it's easy for me to get to. It starts quickly. But really, you can go back and forth between full Visual Studio and Visual Studio Code with your ASP.NET Core code easily, comfortably. But inside Visual Studio, we get all the bells and whistles, right? In CoreWiki now, if I right-click and I choose Add, there's I think it's, no, I want a scaffold, right? I thought there was, it's not here where I think it should be. Oh, new scaffolded item. This is what I want. And so you have a bunch of different things here. If you choose identity, There's identity, and I can click add, and then it allows me to choose. And I think this is exactly what you're looking for there, Kazru. You're specifically looking for, I think it was the register page. So if you look here, where is it? Account register. You can have it generate just that one file, and you'll be able to modify it, put the appropriate restrictions that you want on there. So check that out. That's real easy to use, and it's in, I think it's in 15.7 of Visual Studio and later. All right. So there you go. Let me know, Kazru, if you have any more questions about this. But this is the new way to bring things out of the identity package, where all the default stuff lives, so that you can modify it and add it into existing applications if you'd like. All right? So let me know. I'll be keeping an eye on chat room there, Kazru. Let me know if that works out for you. Give it a try. That should be great. And feel free to clip this, right? You folks know how to do Twitch clips here. Click the little clip button at the bottom of the video if you want to take a copy of that, and so that you can remember exactly how to do it. Tuple, thank you for the follow. There's a programmer. Tuple. Oh my gosh. Cool new follower. Handle of the day. Tuple with an underscore. Now, is that an F# tuple? Is that a C# value tuple? Or is that a tuple class? Let me know. Let me know, Tuple, in the chat room. Was following some MS Docs and did all the scaffolding with PowerShell commands. That's perfect. Thanks. No problem, Kazru. Glad to hear it. Scaffold and register author. Okay. All right, so let's go back to Smap was saying, let's put a options validate on these here. Ryra, thank you for the follow. Steve, you're busy this morning. Steve! Look forward to seeing you in the chat room, Ryra. Thanks so much for joining us here this morning. But yeah, Steve, come on, buddy. I thought you retired from this game. You're really busy here today, Steve. So I think what Smab was suggesting is I could say Microsoft Options dot, and then there's a validate here. I'm not getting the autocomplete on that. Let's go back over here, and let's see if I get the validate on. See, now look at that. That's just bad tabbing. It's still not right. That's not right. It should be up here, something like that. That's like that. It's a little bit better. Ah, Thunder for Speed. Thank you for the follow. I appreciate you joining us, Thunder. Looks like we got another one coming in. Oh my gosh, the follower train is here. Bin Hexer. There's another cool developer name. Thank you, Bin Hexer, for the follow. All right. I actually need a spot to put the cool follower of the day here, somewhere on the video, and then we can vote or something on who has the coolest handle or something for the new followers. All right, let's do this. So the comment from Smab was that there's a validate option here. There we go. Now I've got it. So validate. Check that the options are valid. Should throw an exception if things are not okay. The concern there is you can go to the end of the file, remove one mustache, and then read it, and it fixes your tabbing. Re-add it, and it fixes your tabbing automatically. Ooh! Does that work, Spud? That might be. I saw it bump these over. Let's fix some of this. Make it really ugly, right? And then if I go to the end, delete one, re-add it. Not perfect. But I see what you're saying. I mean, I can also do Control A, Control K, right? Hang on, I don't have Karnak installed on this yet. Let me do that real quick. Karnak keylogger. No. No. Yeah. Right? No. Karnak software. Come on. Here it is. Karnak logs your keystrokes to the screen so that when you see me do hotkey usage, becomes really easy to follow along. Let me copy this out. I'm just going to put here in my dev folder, and we'll start up Karnak. I had completely forgotten about this, and now that I'm not doing funky remoting back and forth, it's going to be really easy to show this. All right. Yes, I want it on that screen, but I want it down here, so it's not behind me. All right. No, Visual Studio. And actually, yeah, I just closed it. Oh, Jeff. That's better. All right. There we go. Now you can see my keystrokes down there. What's that search engine? DuckDuckGo. Yep. So this is DuckDuckGo. Right, so there you go. And it doesn't track you. This is from a bunch of folks here in the Philadelphia area. And there's all kinds of little gimmicks and shortcuts that you can use with this. Bangs, they call them. Allow you to search on thousands of sites. All kinds of things here you can tell it to search. Let's say search business. You can force it to search Bloomberg or, right, Forbes. You know, check it out. All kinds of really cool stuff here to help you search other websites quickly. Amazon with a bang A, and Amazon won't track you. Right, so if I do this and I search for a Stream Deck, right, all the tracking stuff is stripped off. So that's pretty cool. So, let me tune Karnak there. I don't want it to be outputting every keystroke that I write. Oh, that's nice. Yeah. There's nothing there. All right, we'll just go with it. Cool. All right, so that's the bug there. Does it support Alta Vista? Oh, well played, Joe Bud. Hey there, aspiring DevOps guru. Is there an editor config for this project? Asks President Not Sure. I believe so. There it is. And I like tabs. All right. So, there we go. Let's go over to our last pull request here. Update App Insights and Snickler NuGet packages from S&B. So let's take a look at this. Just a couple hours ago, updated Application Insights to 2.3, Snickler RSS Core to 103. So that has me wondering, what is the current versions of those packages? So where is it? Application Insights 210, and he's updating it to 230. Okay. Snickler RSS Core from 102 to 103. That's fine. That's fine. Thank you for updating these packages. All right. And now let me just run a quick git pull. Let me go back to dev. Git branch. Yep. We'll delete that one, and then we'll do a git pull so we get all the latest changes. There it is. What was my problem with the tabbing, asks bin hexer. It was just formatted funny, right? If we take a look back here in identity startup, and let me close this, and I'll go back into identity startup, identity hosting startup. See how, right, this is all kind of really jagged here and not lined up right, especially this one here. So if I did just a, wow, it's not letting me control scroll now. User preferences for this file type are overridden by this project's coding conventions. Oh, you can't see this here behind me. Here, let me move that. Check this out. Look at Visual Studio being... Oh, stop it now. Being very clear about what's going on here. Right here. User preferences for this file type are overwritten, right? Scaffolded files have spaces, not tabs. Darn them. How dare they? So let me go back up. What Spud was saying was if we delete one of these and add it back in, it'll force the reformatting. And it did a pretty good job. I like to do Control A, Control K, Control D. And it will force my options onto it, but it's still not perfect because things like this auth builder, right, it's kind of off there, right? So that helps a little bit. Ooh, look at what I did. You don't even need to Control A, I figure. Well, Control K and Control D, right, where is it? It's a, well, format document is Control ED. It's also Control KD. So, hey, there's Fierce Kittens. Good morning. Good to see you. I should start using GIFbot here on the channel just to make it easier to trigger Steve and some of the other interesting GIFs and things that we do here, and give some credit to Fierce Kittens and the great work she's done on that project. All right, so that was the update for this, which I think is the last pull request that we wanted to look at. It does do the whole document by default, you're right. It's become almost a habit for me. I've been doing it for so long. Grab, highlight the entire document, and then say format. EM Triple says, you tweeted Bayardi's a to-do list for ASP.NET Core projects earlier this week. What an awesome set of tools. Are you considering using his authorization tool for CoreWiki? So, confession, I have the ASP.NET website's RSS feed, the list of articles that they have there, automatically tweeted, set up to automatically tweet from my account. So I don't look at all of those things as they come out. Let's bring that up. Come on, spell it right, Jeff. To-do list ASP.NET Core projects. This one. Validate model state automatically. Have this in almost every action. Yeah, he turns it into a validate model attribute. That's pretty good idea. And apply it globally. There are some places where you don't necessarily want to do that, so I could see wanting to change that around a little bit. if you turn on the option to show white space, you'll see the mess that file. Yeah, I'm not surprised. All right. Handle database exceptions globally. That's a pretty good one. I can definitely see that. Error updating database with appropriate error messages. This is always a little bit of a hiccup here. Quickly access user claims. What's the matter with this one? User find first dot value. Oh yeah, this is a mess. Claims principal extensions. Get user ID or whatever it is that you're going through. Okay, that's nice. Now you can do this in your controllers. User.get user ID. Nice. Okay. Sorting, filtering, and pagination. Oh, that's nice. So get posts. And now you can send the request. Sort by likes. This is this can be dangerous because you can actually force people to write. This is something that you used to be able to do with OData. So you need to put some constraints on it. You can't just leave this open-ended. Otherwise, people can request a huge amount of data from your database and force your system to be filtering and sorting and bringing all that back in a way that'll unnecessarily tax your machine. So this can be dangerous. And that was something that we definitely saw a problem with. Quick out-of-the-box authentication, example of using Demo Cierge. Not familiar with this. Oh, I'm going to hold off talking about this one until we bring on Glenn and Vittorio in July, because they've got some interesting stuff there. Thanks for the follow, Spud. I appreciate that. And we're keeping Steve busy here this morning. Oh my gosh, and look at that. Right there, look at that. We are almost at 2,500. That's amazing. Oh, and gosh, I should update you before I go any further in talking about this article. Our friend, not our friend, when we hit 2,000 followers, I promised that we would do a software architecture workshop. It looks like it's going to happen July 13. I have a few more speakers that I need to confirm with, but so far, Miguel Castro will be joining us. Julie Lerman will be joining us. I need to reconfirm the date with one or two others that we were already talking to. And I've got a couple other folks lined up that I would really like to have join us as part of that. So July 13, instead of having F-Sharp Friday on that day, we're going to have an 8-hour software architecture workshop. I need to confirm that, but when I do, you'll see a big announcement from me here on the channel, and you'll also see it on Twitter and a couple other places. So, hey, I am Leopard. Thanks for joining us there in the chat room. And we got another new follower. Is that Sporky1981? Spork is my favorite utensil. In fact, I go to Taco Bell and take as many sporks as I can because you never know when you might need a spork.
And you blew it!
No, I didn't. I like using sporks, Robert De Niro. Okay? Awesome news. Thank you. All right. Oh my gosh, Claire. Just as Claire subscribed. Thanks so much for the subscription, Claire. I really appreciate that. And of course, I match all of your subscriptions, and we turn it into a donation to Girl Develop It. And right, they support and they help women, underserved minorities learn how to write code, and just like we're doing here. And I want to support that, right? I think of myself as an ally, for those folks who are learning in our community, and I want to encourage that growth. And I'm flattered that you would subscribe to the channel. I hope you enjoy using the C# bot emote. And Claire used her Twitch Prime account. You can hook that up to Amazon Prime free if you have an Amazon Prime account. And if you use your one free subscription here on the channel, we'll match that and make a donation over to Girl Develop It. Thanks so much, Claire, for your support. Just spent 2 years volunteering with Bold Idea. I have a check that I'm going to be sending over to our friends there at Girl Develop It this week. I'm really excited to send it over. So, just spent 2 years volunteering with Bold Idea, teaching comp sci to kids 7 to 15. That is awesome, Claire. Thank you for helping grow our technical community and get kids engaged. That's awesome. So this is a really neat set of recommendations that Biardi has here. Oh, EM Triple, thank you for the cheer. Now, quick tip, if you do cheer more than 100 bits, and of course I'll match any bits that you folks cheer. If you cheer more than 100 bits and you put some text after it, you'll get some text to speech here on the stream, and I'll let it blurt out, echo what it is that you have to say. Thanks so much for sharing that, EM Triple. We'll match and send that over to our friends at Girl Develop It as well. So great. Thank you so much. I'm flattered that you would share with our community when you contribute code, when you subscribe, when you cheer. It's really great stuff. I like a lot of the stuff that Biardi is doing here in this article. What I'd like to see him do is wrap up some of these really cool things here as a NuGet package, so that we can add this tooling into our applications, right? I see he's got a GitHub here. Is this any of this wrapped up as a NuGet package? No, I don't see it. So that would be pretty cool to see. But interesting position and interesting opinionated approach to software there. Really great stuff, you know. Okay, let's get over and actually get into what we wanted to write here today. We're going to open up that. I love using the Zelda sound effects. So let's go over and actually talk about authorization in ASP.NET Core, because I want to enhance what we're doing here in CoreWiki and actually create the concepts of an editor and an author in our code. So, let's take a look at that. Now, I don't need both Visual Studio Code and Visual Studio, so I'm going to use Visual Studio 2017 here. And so I have folks registering right now. They're either keying in their email address or they're logging in with a Microsoft account or a Twitter account. But after they're logged in, what happens? You know, they're logged in, so what? Right? They're allowed to do whatever. So there's a little bit of a problem there where I want to constrain who's allowed to do what, right? I don't want everybody to be able to edit the homepage. I don't want everybody to be able to delete articles, right? So there's ideas there of things that not everybody should be able to do, but maybe folks who are new users can always write comments, right? Authors can create new articles, right? Editors can edit articles. So there's a couple things there that I think we should define and add into our application. So I just spit out a couple of those types of policies, right? Is the security term that folks use, right? You have a policy that says that has a generic name there, like authors are allowed to write articles. Editors are allowed to write articles and edit articles. And we want to define and add those policies into our application. Now, confirm email is not the file I want to be looking at for this. But when we define those policies, it's going to make it really easy then for us to enforce those policies. And they're a lot more powerful than just a role, right? If you think about a role that somebody has on an application, you know, and a role as simple as, well, I'm an administrator. Well, an administrator is a group of users, and the only property of that administrator group is the name administrator, right? And the folks that belong to it. When you have a policy, you can attach different checks to that say, you know what? We need to ensure that people have this credential or this capability or this property attached to their secure ID. And those properties that we're going to check on somebody's identification, those are called claims, right? And a claim is something as simple as, well, I'm a employee in the North America region. I'm an employee at the Pennsylvania office. You know, those are claims that might be appropriate on a user's record. So what I can do is I can start adding to, and I'll do it over here in Identity Hosting Startup. I can start adding authorization and defining and adding those policies into my application. So what I will do after I added identity here and the authorization builder for Microsoft and Twitter is I'm going to say services add authorization, and there's an override here that includes authorization options to configure. Now, I don't want to necessarily put all of my policies and things in this one file because I'm already kind of violating my own rule here, my own pseudo rule here, where I've got 40, 50 lines of code in this one method. Let's push all that policy information into another class that makes it really easy to see and manage those policies. And when it comes time to commit and manage those policies in source control, it's in one file and it's very clear where and what we're editing, right? There's too many things that I'm touching here in this one file to manage those policies. So that's what I think we'll do here. I'm going to create, I'm just going to say authorization policy dot execute. I'll use a command pattern here. And what I'll do is under identity, I will add a new class and I'll call it authorization policy. So now I have that class, and like I said, I'm going to use the command pattern here. If I control dot on this, it gives me the option to generate method right here on authorization policy. So let's do that. And our red squiggle goes away. If I F12 into that, go to declaration. See, Karnak is working really well on one screen here. I like it. I like it. Now, I have my options being passed in. Let's call it options. And now I can start to define my policy. Now, some of those policies that we had were things like logged in users can write comments. Authors can write articles. Editors can edit articles. Administrators can delete articles. Okay. So if we look at that as a series of policies here, now we can start to actually define what these things are and wire them up to my application. So if we look at roles, right? Let's start with the concept of these as roles. And if we define those, editors can edit just their own articles. I think editors can edit anyone's articles. Authors can edit their own articles. I think, right, if we make that the policy. Oh, and Fritzbot, that was way wrong question. Yep, you're wrong, Fritzbot. Ugh. So now let's start off by defining some of these roles. Now, let's save this. And also, let me start a branch here. Feature authorization. There we go. So now I've got somewhere to play without breaking what's going on in the dev branch. Silly bot. Tricks are for kids. Oh, dev cynical. Yes. Yes. All right. So we need to define roles. Now, roles need to be added to the database separately. Right, we need to add those roles, make sure that those are available. And inside of our startup method, we added a seed method way down here. Where is it? CoreWiki identity context seed data. And all this is doing right now is ensuring the database is created. We need to actually define these initial set of roles that we want to have. So I don't need that, don't need this. So we're initially talking about a role of author, a role of editor, and a role of administrator. So let's add those roles to the application, to the database. So when we seed it, I should be able to say context.roles, add, and now a new identity role. So let's add a new identity role. All right. And the name, the first name, let's make it authors. Sure, authors. And then we're going to just do the same thing again and again for editors and administrators. Editors. Come on, I can spell. There we go. Cool. I get pretty confused around using claims versus roles, and I think we're going to clear that up here, President Not Sure. Comment of the day. Yes. Yeah, I think so. It is. Woo! All right. Pretty cool what you have on screen showing what keys you press. Yeah, that's Karnak. Right? We tried using Karnak some time ago in my old setup. Where I was showing when my old broadcast setup, I was broadcasting from another machine, and Karnak wasn't capturing the keys and putting them on screen properly. Yep, President Not Sure, it used to crash all the time. Looks like there was an update, and I'm only running on one machine now, so it's behaving. So when we seed the database, we'll create those 3 roles. And I will save those changes so that we get them in the database. What do you mean PHP? What PHP? No problem, Braga. That's quite all right. Yeah, if you look in the archive, you'll see me complaining about Karnak crashing. It was kind of funny too. This is actually, I should call it out. This is actually show number 90. And now that I'm broadcasting 4 times a week, we're just trucking through here and really delivering a lot of content frequently. And gosh, 90 some viewers right now. I'm thrilled that everybody's here. And of course, I saw some folks talking about raiding on Twitter. We'll raid. We will raid at the end of this, and send everybody over to check out another developer stream when we're done. Followed when you were offline because I wanted to get that notification when you're live. All right, that's great. And you know what we should do for you then, Braga? Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take this over here just for you because you followed when we were offline. Let's take care of this. One of these. I got to be careful. This is going to show you if I key in a password. Just for Braga. Hey, thanks for the follow, Braga. I really appreciate that. Steve, thanks for welcoming Braga there, alright? There you go. Do you need to check if the entities are in the database first and then only add if they don't exist? You know what? That's a good point because that's a very good point because this will be run every time our application starts. So let's absolutely good call there, Maz. Points to Maz for picking up that one. So I could do an any. Let's do any, right? Because that'll bail out quickly. R dot name equals authors. And I want to turn that into a not, right? So if we don't find the role authors there, then we want to add the authors list. That makes sense. Isn't there a better way to do this only first time of database? Asks Wampa. There is a way. That's a great question. There is a way to put it. I don't think it's in the snapshot. Okay, now there's a binary follower. Thank you for that. Now, and why did my chat window refresh? Right? You saw that, the chat. Couldn't you use the new seed keep capability? Well, let's take a look at that. Thanks for calling that out, Moss. Entity framework 2.1. There is a new seed capability, and you know what? I haven't looked at it yet. Let's start here. Lazy loading, value conversions, link group by, data seeding. Section on data seeding for more information. Yes, please. Data seeding allows you to provide initial data to populate the database. Seeding data is associated with an entity type as part of the model configuration. Then EF Core migrations automatically compute what insert, update, and delete. Hey, Broken. Hey, Broken. Welcome. Thank you for the follow. That's another good one. All right. So this will configure that entity blog has data and then the initial data. Now, is it automatically doing that? Check. Once the entities have been added, it is recommended to use migrations to apply those changes. So this is being done in the model builder. You can use context database ensure created to create a new database containing the seed data, for example, a test database, or when using in-memory provider. If none of that database, note that if the database exists, ensure created will neither update the schema nor the seed data in the database. And SMAP does this in a different way, he says. All right, you know what? I like what Moz is suggesting here. Let's do this, and let's try the new seed data feature here. I think that's a great idea. Thanks for the suggestion, Moz. Yeah, let's go over there. Pragma warning restore. What is? Oh yeah, that's fine. That's in this generated code. So where I'm right, we have this seed data method that Isaac wrote. Right, it's yeah. Over here, and it's being called each time. and it's being called each time our application starts. If we turn this around, now that Entity Framework 2.1 is here, we should be able to make this part of our scaffolding of the database, so that, right, when we call context database ensure created, it'll just be available. So the seed data for my application just generates that home page and calls context database ensure created. So if we go to on model creating here, and if we try model builder dot, and it was article, entity article, and it was has data. Hey, look at that. All right. And now we're going to pass in a collection of articles. So we really only had the one here, the homepage article. So I'm just going to copy this. Copy pasta, right? Is that how it goes? That's how Fierce Kittens says it. I'm going to copy pasta this. And we can get rid of that semi and put it here. Now I'm going to try what Spud was saying. I'm just going to delete that. No, it didn't reformat. Yeah, I'm going to take all of this, tab over. That's better. All right, so now I'm saying the article has data, and there's that initial block. So I shouldn't need to do this. For now, I'll just comment this out. Commented, as we're now using EF 2.1 has data feature. All right, so if we're sure that works, it should clear that out. Bacon pasta. Bacon. I like bacon. Okay. Skate 4. Skate 4? What about Skate 4? Your and Brendan's stream has convinced me to try using .NET Core to build my homepage backend. Oh, that's great, World Wake, and welcome. Thank you for joining us today. That's great. I'm always happy to hear folks that are trying new things, and I'll be here 4 days a week if you have questions. Always happy to answer your questions. Just tag the little heart at the top of the Twitch stream here, and it'll let you know when I'm broadcasting. So that's in application DB context. The other one was what we're doing over here for the authors. So if we back up here, so here's on model creating, and let's yank that. Right, it was doing the base, right? Now I got rid of the base. I think I need to call the base here. My web host is LampStack, so I can't even test this stuff if I wanted to. Yes, you can, Fierce Kittens. Haha! Oh, yes, you can. Web hosts that are the LampStack, so Fierce Kittens is referring to the LAMP acronym. LAMP is short for Linux, Apache, MySQL, and PHP. And it's a great stack. Free tools, open source tools that you can use to get started. Is that ZDOM Live? Thank you for the follow. Look forward to seeing you in the chat room. And Steve, you've been very busy today. Thank you for helping. A lot of services that host the LAMP stack will also host Docker containers, and you can put all of ASP.NET stuff, if you'd like, inside of a Docker container, and the Docker containers by default run with Linux. So I guess if you're running Linux, C#, Core, and MySQL, LCCM, there's got to be something there. And Janescu is pointing out PeachPy is a cool tool for PHP devs that want to write and use a .NET backend. I can't speak more highly, high enough, highly? Yeah, something like that, about how great PeachPy is, because PeachPy, Lickum? What is this, a sticker? But that's not bad, Lickum. Sounds like something. I'm not sure. I'm not sure I want to say lick 'em. But if you can't lick 'em, join 'em. All right, there you go, President. Nice. .NET Core and MySQL can run on Linux. That's right, Demon Wolf. Not really a stack for it, but hopefully soon. Well, you can run all of it actually inside of a Docker container. You don't need a stack. Bring your own stack. But Peach Pie, I can't speak highly enough about Peach Pie. Let me show. Let's show Peach Pie Tech not teach. Tech Empower. I love seeing these numbers. Here. So the Peach Pie folks were working with our friend Ben Adams. And I know I've mentioned it before, but check this out. Go away. I don't want to see that. I want to see just the picture. I don't know. Bad. That's pretty good right there. So Peach Pie returns almost 500,000 requests a second. Normal PHP out of the box runs 250,000 requests a second. Okay, so look, this is running on .NET with Kestrel, the same web server that we're using here for CoreWiki. It's just compiling your PHP code to run on top of it, and it is, right, 50% faster. That's pretty freaking good. And, not AMP, which one is it? I don't see, there was another one of these that had the Facebook compiler on it, and it wasn't doing too well either. I forget which one's the face by. CLCM, click 'em. That's not bad either. That's pretty good. So Peach Pie, maybe we'll check that out. I'd dump MySQL for Postgres any day. Okay. Not bad. It's taking the PHP and making bytecode so it's not interpreted. Let me go back to Peach Pie for a second. It actually turns it into... There's actually a script interpreter that will compile it and run it. So yeah, it is turning it into bytecode, yeah. So .NET Framework, ASP.NET, ASP.NET Core, they're even running WordPress on top of it. In fact, if you click the blog here, this blog is WordPress running on .NET. There you go. Peach Pie IO now runs on Peach Pie. So cool. Great, great project. I love the innovation from these folks. So, I use the role manager rather than seeding the database for identity information, as you can run it anytime and you don't need to understand the DB structure. That's a good approach, Smap. So, getting back into our code, I'm seeding and loading data into the database. There's a role manager object you can use to manage the roles. That's cool. That works also. So let's just add, right, so this was builder, entity, and the entity is going to be the role, right? I think it was identity role, wasn't it? Yeah. Dot has data. What is this? Oh, it looks like our friend Richard is on the beach in Sea Isle City, New Jersey, watching. Hey, Richard, good to see you. So I'm going to say has data, and we will put in our array of our array of roles right here. So I'm just going to copy these, and we'll clean that up in a second. I don't need that. All right. Paste that in there, and we'll get rid of these extra bits. Cool. And we'll, nope, didn't reformat the way I wanted it. Rats. Rats. Something like that, a little like this. That should work. Used an engine that was interpreting gameplay code from a scripting language. Servers were slow. They could only have maybe 15 people before they crash. Wow! It's also what Chrome does for JavaScript. Same engine is used by Node.js. Yep, that's the V8 engine you'll hear people talk about. Which makes Discord, Slack, VS Code, JavaScript software compiled straight to native binary. Yeah, absolutely. All right. Wow, we've got 100 folks hanging out here today. This is great. Thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in. So I've allocated this. I got to go exercise so I can fit into cosplays. All right, you take care there, Fierce Kittens. You have a good one. So now let's try running this code. I'm going to start off by deleting our database or moving it, so I can force it to reload here. So there's WikiDB and Wiki Identity. Let's move those. Star.db. Right? Can I do star.db.old? Nope, won't do it. Can I do that over here? Move star.db to star.db.old. Nope. Bummer. All right. Wiki.db.old. And then what was the other one? It was Wiki Identity. To wiki identity.db.old. All right. So now they're not there. Yeah, we did. We cracked 100. Just rename it. Same difference. Move, rename. I'm thinking Unixy, right? You shouldn't have to move WikiDB, just the identity one. Well, I want to see what it generates. I want to see if the seed data properly generates the sample content for me. So I'll do a .NET run. And we should get it to ensure and create some of those. I see you have one of those hot commands extensions. What do you mean? End of file expected. Oh no! CoreWiki CS proj. What did we do? Oh no. It looks okay from here. Right? Application insights, that was the one line that was changed. And the other was in Snickler. That one is fine. No. Oh, the overlay. Yeah, that's called Karnak Genesco. So if I .NET build. Oh, here it is. Application DB context is where it's upset. I missed that. All right. What did I do here? So that ends that. That ends that. Semi. Good. All right. In seed data. Oh, I've got an extra curly brace here from that if statement. All right. Hot commands have a bunch of Visual Studio extensions. Well, that's not a Visual Studio extension. That's a... Uh-oh. Well, that's not good. Well, thanks. What did we do? All right, hang on. Seed entity for entity type article cannot be added because there was no value provided for the required property ID. Really? Really? All right. Let's go back here, and I need to turn down my logging. I turned up the logging to trace so that I could find that bug that we had. All right, so that's better. And let me take this. Yeah, that's good. All right. So what it's saying is that in our, not this one, the other context. It's saying that I didn't specify an ID and it's required. I would have thought it would generate it for me, but all right. There's ID 1, and I'm guessing we're going to get the same nonsense over here from the other context. So let's give it a try. See what happens this time. Need to handle null exception. Well, it wasn't. I don't think it was a null exception. There we go. There we go. Insert into roles, insert into roles, insert into roles. Right, there it is, creating all of our identity stuff. Cool. ASP.NET users. There's the comments table. Insert into articles. FMK994. Thank you for the follow. I appreciate that. Look forward to seeing you in the chat room. Could you set it ID equals ID? Don't think so. I think we're all right with this. When it's the first article coming in, we should be okay with that name. So now if I refresh this, I should get the default homepage. This is the default homepage. And there's no other content hanging out here. Fantastic. If I register, I could register and it shouldn't have to do anything there. So I think that works for getting us our initial data, our seed data in there, taking advantage of the new feature here in ASP.NET Core, Entity Framework 2.1. Now, just to make sure that it's not running it every time, I'll .NET run again. Headforge, thank you for the follow. Welcome, and oh my gosh, we're so close. Look at that, 7 from 2,500 followers. That's amazing. Thank you, everybody, for the follows. Now I'm going to look at the info here. Check it out. It didn't run that seed data again. That's pretty cool. So, right, let's make sure we step through and understand this. I am calling this seed data method every time, and it calls database ensure created. And if the database exists, no action is taken. So, but if it doesn't exist, it'll run this model creating and build out the table as need be. So that's pretty cool. I'm happy to see that. And look at that, president not sure with a giggle. All right. So cool. I think that's a heck of a lot easier way to manage that initial data. Thanks for the suggestion, Maz. I appreciate that. I'm going to bring back my old databases there, and I'm going to cheat and just do it here inside. Yes, I know that. Inside Explorer. All right, good. And just take another look. And we're going to start on that authorization policy. You love commands overlay on stream. I like it. I want to make sure that you see the hotkeys that I'm keying in, because I use a number of them. And if you have questions about how I'm hopping through Visual Studio or some of these other tools, I want you to be able to see what it is that I'm using. So I think that's a viewer-friendly way to present and show how I'm working with my code. And Moz with the bot salute there. Thank you. What about migration changes? Asks Parathon. So let's talk about that. It shouldn't reload the data when there's a migration change, right? Now, a migration change that Parathon is talking about here is when the structure of our database changes. Let me commit what we have right now. I need to add... I'm going to skip adding the authorization. No, I should. Let's add that. started using entity framework seed data. All right. Now, what Parathon is suggesting is as the database structure changes, what happens around the seed data. Cording 2, thank you for the follow. I appreciate that. Oh my gosh, we're almost there. And another follow, Edivados, thank you for the follow. Oh my gosh, 5 from 2,500. That is awesome. Awesome stuff. I am thrilled. I know, Rick. I am thrilled about it. And I'm the guy that can do it.
It can be done exactly how I want it.
It will.
The only question is, are you the man to do it?
I am. I'm the man to get us to 2,500. Here we go. All right. For example, your current DB doesn't have the roles and won't be created with this method. You're right. You're right. I installed that SQLite browser. And if I open the database, so this is a very good point from Parathon here. Where is it? If I look at the database here, and I look in the roles table, right? If we browse that table, they're not in there. And if we look then at .NET, our entity framework commands. Now on the command line, you can work with entity framework to interact with your database using the .NET EF global tool command. This is available for every person that installs, every application, every system that has the .NET, the latest .NET SDK, right? So I'm going to say database update. So let's say .NET EF. Now I've actually got two contexts here, so I need to make sure that I specify which context it is that I'm working with. X Gyros, thank you for the follow. Oh my gosh, and here comes another one right behind it. Come on. There it is, behind the horizon. Thank you for the follow as well. And oh my gosh, we are right there on the edge. Whew. I need to specify some options and then the command. I want to do update, but if I say update, let's pass help into that one as well. I need to specify the context. And Smab says that's why I use role manager. I get it. I do. So let's try passing update -c, and the name of our context was, where is it? It's, where is it? CoreWiki identity context. Let's call it that. And let's see what happens when we run that update. All right, so I've got a couple things that failed here. Let's take a look-see. Initialized. You know what? I wonder if because I have it open. Table already exists on the create table. Yeah, it's blowing up on that. Brave Cobra, just saw your stream for last Friday on F#. I don't think I'll convert anytime soon. That's okay. That's, hey, you know what? If it works for you, great. If it doesn't, that's okay too. It's about learning something new. If I try running that update one more time. This only helps you in this special case. Any table can change or needs a new set of base rows. You're right. You're right, Tagaron. Dev Anima, thank you for the follow. And we got one more behind that. Oh my gosh. Hey there, Caesar Gaming. Thank you for joining us here this morning. Look at that. Caesar's got the indicator there. What is that? shoot, I forget what the battery indicator is. Turbo. Okay. 2 away. I think we're 1 away, actually. But thank you for the follow, Simcato. Yeah, Turbo. All right. Awesome stuff. Awesome. Thank you so much. We're about to tick 2,500. I know, President Not Sure. Quick, somebody go register a Twitch account for your dog and get him to follow me. No, I'm kidding. Don't do that. Don't do that. I should not be encouraging. And 93 viewers is nice as well. Yeah, it's great having so many folks here. And I'm always here to answer your questions. And I like what Parathon and Devanima with the developers. Absolutely, Devanima. I want to make sure that Steve welcomes all of our developers. The has data method can be used in the EF migration classes. There it was! Caesar Gaming. Wait a sec, you already gave us a follow. Oh my gosh, we got 3 of them coming through. And C# TV. C# TV? Wow, I didn't know there was a C# TV out there. Thank you for the follow. And Tyvro, thank you for the follow as well. Thank you, everybody. We just hit, oh my gosh. We've crossed 2,500 followers. Wow. Wow. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Oh my gosh, I am so thrilled that this community has grown like this. That you've decided to join me here on a Saturday morning. Now delete my channel. Shut up.
Do it!
No. We're not going to delete the channel. Gosh, thank you, everybody. And, Janescu, thank you for hosting. Speech. I'm thrilled with, gosh, if we rewind here for a second. Back in November when I started this channel, I thought, you know what, I need some time to practice coding, to write some, to allocate to writing some code for myself. And I figured, why not share it? I was absolutely thrilled with what our friend Noopcat or Noopcat, Suze Hinton, was doing Sunday mornings. I encourage you. You've got to check her out, especially if you're watching me now on the Visual Studio channel. You can tune in there tomorrow morning, Sunday at 10 a.m. Eastern. She'll be broadcasting and talking about JavaScript, is what she normally works on. Brave Cobra's cat is following as well. That's great. But I was thrilled with what she was doing with JavaScript, and I wanted to do the same thing with .NET. And I am flattered that so many folks have joined us, so many folks have supported this community, and that we're able to do things like support Girl Develop It. And I'm going to make sure that they get some really cool support from us here in the next week or so. She has done some Windows IoT Core episodes, yes, on the Visual Studio Toolbox on YouTube. You can check that out. She's on that with my friend Dimitri, talking about and showing how to do Windows IoT Core. So she specializes in JavaScript, particularly JavaScript with hardware. Check her out. But I was so impressed with what she was doing that I wanted to do the same thing, but with .NET. And I specialize in web development, and I've been keeping at it here. You know, some of you have seen it's been a slog, but I enjoy bringing friends on to pair program, and you're going to see more pair programming this week with upcoming guests. I love doing the workshops for you. You know, we've got a workshop here in July coming up that I'm planning. I think they're exciting. They're a lot of work to put together, but that long day is just an amazing experience. So I hope you join me in July. Absolutely, Parathon. You have to check her out. Let her know that you support her channel and that you like what we're doing here. Oh, there's lots of JavaScript streamers, Headforge, lots and lots. let's see, when it was normally in Mixer side, 5 viewers. Yes. But so we've got that workshop coming up. We're going to do a Xamarin workshop in August. We're going to do an Azure workshop in October. In November, I'm starting planning on an IoT workshop in November. And that's going to be really, really awesome. So thank you, everybody. You know, ticking 2,500 is just a huge number that I never, ever thought we would hit. I never thought we'd hit 500. Let's start there. And 2,500 is just amazing. Thank you so much. C# is a nice language. Absolutely. That's why it's part of my name there. There you go. All right, so let's get back in. Let's finish this little block of code here, and we'll see about writing a policy before I bug out here. So this isn't creating those database tables because they're already in the database, which means it's not going to update properly. Which now feels bad. Gosh. And who was it? Was it Claire? Moz was saying, there it is. Moz was saying has data method can be used in the EF migration classes. So if we go over to migrations, so this is a partial class to apply these. You could create another class that rides next to this that would apply the migration. That would add that seed data. Do we have down operations, up operations? How do we do it as part of a migration? It is here we go. Once the entities are added, recommended to use migrations. All right, so how do we do that? Adding another migration. Update database, removing a migration, reverting, empty, generating a SQL script, blah, 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 blah. All right. Don't call ensure created before migrate. Ensure created bypasses migrations to create the schema, which causes migrate to fail. Well, there you go. There's a problem I'm having. Let's see here. Am I planning a vacation? We need to know when you're going to take a break. November. For the American Thanksgiving, I'm looking at taking a vacation that week, and then the month of December, I'm probably going to take the entire month off from work, but I'll probably still do some streaming. We'll see. I wonder why there was not a better interoperability with JavaScript on hardware side. There is. Why there was not a better... because JavaScript was seen primarily, I think, as a web browser side language, and as Node does some of those things, gives you that access, right? There's the USB interfaces available for you there. Now it's becoming something you can actually do. Work, meaning Twitch. I don't work for Twitch, but I don't see what I'm doing here as work. This to me is fun. This is me learning with you, right? I've had several of my managers, several of our supervisors say, gosh, you're streaming so much, that's a lot. This is fun for me. This is what I enjoy doing. If I wasn't working, if I had all the money in the world and I didn't have to work, I would still be writing code. I would still be doing this because this is fun. I enjoy talking to you. I enjoy learning with you. Some people say it takes a lot of cojones. It takes a lot of confidence to be able to do what I'm doing on those F# Fridays, where I'm out there and I'm planning to fail. I'm planning to not understand things and break things. So yeah. It is great when the employer supports it. Absolutely. B Beast, thank you for the follow. I appreciate you joining us. Look forward to seeing you in the chat room. When you aren't applying migrations at runtime, you're just applying migrations from the CLI. Yes. So looking at here, Genescu, that sounds like a pretty cool ID. Well, wait, an F# wiki with peach pie? Let me know where that goes. I'd be interested to see what you're building. Love the F# Fridays. Nice to see others struggle through the learning process. Okay, Claire. Now you're telling me you just like to see me make mistakes, all right? I tell you.
And you blew it!
That's what I do every F# Friday, Robert De Niro. I make mistakes. We all make mistakes, right? And that's how I learn. Make mistakes, learn why it's a mistake, fix it. Never make that mistake again. Until next Friday. And then make that mistake. And the Friday after that. All right. My context database.migrate. So how this article said, once entities have been added, it's recommended to use migrations to apply changes. So how do I add it? How do I add that seed data to the migration? Drop column. Yeah, okay. It's not clear to me how I define that seed data. Well, here you go. This hasn't been touched since October. So, yeah. Yep, I'm in it for the pain. That's not fair. Create a blank migration and then hand roll the code. Oh, hand roll it just like Grandma used to make. That's not a bad idea, but then I need to add the migration into the collection. 0100 light is now following. Cool, thank you for the follow. Now wait, 0100. Is that binary and is that 4 light? Frank Castle is alive. Thank you for the follow. There is a Punisher follower. Frank Castle is alive. Very cool. All right. So many followers. Absolutely, Genescu. It's great. Since my database and migrations are out of sync, you'll probably have to add one role to ASP.NET roles. Migrations are coming in EF3. You're caught in a circular reference. Remove the database and re-init the database migration. Yeah, that's what I think. I think you're right. You know what? And I'm okay with deleting the wiki identity database. Not that one. That one. Because I don't really have folks built in there yet, right? I'm not deleting my content. And I think it was Smab said that's why we separated the two into two different things. But the point was keep the data. Yeah. Daxa, thank you for the follow. Wow, it is a regular follower train here this morning. Thank you so much, everybody, for following along, for joining us here. And let me know if you're watching, if you're tuning in from the Visual Studio channel over there. We're building that up. That's really great stuff we're trying to do. Lots of viewers today, absolutely. I hope you enjoy Saturday mornings. Have a little bit of breakfast, you know, if you're out there on the West Coast. And tune in and let's learn a little bit. Let's write some code together. We don't have a poster on articles. I think we have... Well, hang on. Let me... So the question there from Brave Cobra is... So we're working on this little wiki project. We have for an article here, I don't think we have an author yet. We don't have an author property. So we're going to need to know who the author is in order to ensure that authors are only allowed to edit their articles. And that's going to be a linking to the identity database. Yep. Let me do that database update now and see if we can get it to generate and build out that seed data properly. There we go. You'll want to delete or move the identity migrations as well. I think we're okay with where they are right now. Because the identity database, we haven't changed anything yet. We haven't enhanced it. Saturday night for me, but this is fun. Oh my gosh, Frank Castle, you must be eastern side of Europe. That's great. Thank you for joining us. You know, that's awesome. Thank you. So no, we don't have an object for. We should probably do that for the CoreWiki context as well, which is just application DB context. All right, let's see if we can get that database update. Hello from France. Hey, useless. That's not right. Welcome. Did you work on Hearthstone and Overwatch, or am I misinterpreting? I did not work on them. I play them. Finland. Oh, awesome. I'm discussing with some folks possibly doing a fall tour through Europe, do a couple different cities. Portugal is where Braga is. Oh, Portugal didn't Portugal win yesterday? Didn't Ronaldo have just a few goals in the World Cup? Belgium. Oh, it was 3-3. Oh. 3-3. Spain can't beat Ronaldo. All right, so this could be annoying. My entity framework context and because SQLite just generates the tables for me, my migrations for that SQLite database are out of sync. Oh, that's annoying. But this problem goes away when you have a persistent database and it doesn't just generate the database every time. The Redmond guys liked Finland in summer, as so much light in the night. Master Scripter says, I have an unrelated question. Absolutely, always okay to ask questions, Master Scripter. And Paulo is for Portugal as well. Awesome. That's okay. Nope, we're equal opportunity World Cup offender here, all right? So, fire away, Master Scripter. We're happy to hear if you have a question. I'm going to go back to, I think it was Brave Cobra said we need to have a poster on the article so we know who the author is. Start from scratch with the databases and implement the seed. Yeah, I think you're right. That's going to be the way to go here. So let's rename that wikidb to wiki.olddb. And now if I do a .NET EF database update. No, look at that. SQLite does not support this migration operation. Well, that feels bad. But if I just start it, it'll go. You haven't kept the migrations up to date. You can always start from scratch again with them. You're right. Old Sport Dev8. Thank you for the follow. It looks like we got another one coming through here. Is that Yellow Cat following? Yes, it is. Hey, Yellow Cat. Thanks for joining us. I look forward to seeing everybody in the chat room. Always happy to answer your questions. Is there a good place to get info on integrating PayPal with the .NET Core site? Everything I've seen seems to say no. PayPal is a REST endpoint, right? It's a web endpoint that you need to post some credential information into in order to do an appropriate charge. So you can charge somebody, right? You want to put something on somebody's PayPal account. There was, just to answer Master Scriptus' question, PayPal with .NET Core, there was a great way to do it. Create a PayPal payment, .NET Core with C#. Yeah, see, it's doing some JSON, So you have, here's my return URL, cancel if it gets canceled to come back to someplace else. And this looks like, and it's very, right, this is very by hand writing all the code. There were some tools like Stripe that are available in NuGet that should make this really easy to do. If we go to NuGet.org and we search for PayPal by PayPal. And there you go, runs on .NET Standard 2.0. So this should work regardless of where you're coming from. Is this, I mean, it says the owner is PayPal. Copyright PayPal. I don't see a project page here. Let's take a look at PayPal Core SDK. There you go. Project site is PayPal. There we go. So I would take a look at this PayPal Core SDK, and that should help you out there, Master Scripter. And it looks like there's a project site here, probably with some samples. That's where I would jump off. All right. Stripe works. Yep, Stripe works. Can you support Bitcoin instead? Why not? Bitcoin's pretty cool. That'd be pretty fun to use. So there you go, Master Scripter. Good luck with that. Let us know how you do. All right. Ethereum C# coin. C# Fritz coin. All right. Where was I? Smab said SQLite has some annoying limitation when it comes to generated migrations at the moment. Fritz coin. But Smab is right. I haven't kept the migrations up to date. If I look at the migrations over here, no, I think they're pretty up to date. Right, so if I say, not .NET, .NET, EF, migrations, and this is application DB context, add, update because Fritz is lazy and hasn't kept up with these changes. He's such a bum. Oh, it doesn't like the name for that. .NET EF migrations. I have to put the add first. Fine. Haha. Recently got into web dev, ASP.NET specifically, learning basics of MVC, made a single page app, and now working on a basic API. What should I do after I'm done with basics to improve myself further? That's a good question, Yellow Cat. There's some things you're going to want to think about regarding software architecture, right? If you've gone through and you've learned a little bit around dependency injection, about solid design, those are good things to take a look at. We had a great video with our friend Phil Japixi as part of our C# conference workshop that we ran. You can find that on my YouTube channel. If you go to youtube.com/C#Fritz, the URL will pop up here in a second. Not the GitHub one, but it's youtube.com/C#Fritz. There's a playlist there for the C# workshop. Look for Phil Japixi in there, and he talks about solid design principles. And those are coding techniques and design ideas that you should check out there. That'll get you thinking in the right direction. There's always new features coming out for the programming language. You can get in and get involved with those. But really, being a good developer is about experience. It's about what you've written. If you know how to, build and write code, that's great. People are always going to have to look up, a certain amount of code. It's, where can I find code? What, I'll tell you. Where can I see Fritz videos? You need to put a question mark at the end of that, Janesco. And it'll answer the question there. But you can always check out videos from other folks that go into more advanced topics. You can go to conferences and speak to other folks in the community. A number of conferences like I have over here on the other side, right? .NET Conf you'll see in September. Tech Bash in the Pennsylvania area, Eastern Pennsylvania, in the Poconos. Developer Week's a great one to check out in Nuremberg next week. There's Tech Bash. Dev Intersection in December will be great. Using Pluralsight as main source of learning. What is your opinion of it? Pluralsight did a great job building a phenomenal library of content. They really got some great stuff in there from a great set of authors. They've IPO'd now. They're on the stock market, and they've had to change some of their policies with how they interact with authors, and a number of their more popular authors have left the service, and they're creating their own content and self-publishing. You can look up those folks, and you can see on their blogs and different places where they're self-publishing now. I think that those folks leaving Pluralsight that were so valuable to building their initial library. I am not an investor in Pluralsight. I am not an investor in a competing product. I have videos in Pluralsight's library. I have videos in Microsoft's Virtual Academy library. I have videos in Wintellect Now's library. But I think that Pluralsight and the pressure from their stakeholders to turn around a profit, and changing their policy for interacting with some of these authors is going to hurt them at some point. You're only as good as your content. We learned that from Blockbuster Video. Blockbuster Video's content was more easily available overnight from Netflix and then eventually online, and you saw what happened to Blockbuster Video. As a content provider, you're only as good as your content. And if you skimp on content, take a look at newspapers. It hurts you. So it's always good to have the best content that you can get and keep it up. Udemy is greater than Pluralsight. Udemy hijacks and posts videos from Pluralsight. Troy Hunt had a significant problem with those folks. Udemy, or it's either Udemy or Udacity, one of the two. I get them confused, but one of them was copying Pluralsight, quite literally copying and pasting Pluralsight videos into their service. But a lot of Pluralsight's videos are really good with really good authors. I cannot complain about their videos. Wintellect Now has a great library that they're building. Some of the authors that were on Pluralsight are going over there and producing content. LinkedIn Learning has some great content as well. Check it out. See, you can look at everybody's catalog. They have their catalogs available, and you can see previews of some of their videos. I really like what Wintellect is doing. It's not the 8-hour marathon videos that you see on Pluralsight. It's a good hour or so that you can find over there. Julie Lerman and Deborah Carrata, they are two very good authors over there on Pluralsight. Absolutely, you got to check it out. Deborah Carrata is a great friend and an amazing instructor. I've had the pleasure of spending some time talking with her about how to build video content. I encourage you to check out her content. All right, so it says here it created that migration for me. What did it actually migrate? Oh, look at that. Wait a sec. Hang on. Ooh, look at this. Let me come back to your question, Wampa. It generated the migration to create the seed data for me. So, Smab, I think we might be onto something here. Let's whack all the migrations. Let's delete all the migrations that are out here. Create a new first migration, and it should have the insert data there for me. Do you know what Flutter is? Isn't that marshmallow stuff you put on a peanut butter sandwich? No? 1 million ebooks in 60 seconds or less. Okay. All right. That's not right. No, that's coming out of Kindle. No. Open source mobile application development SDK created by Google, used to develop applications for Android and iOS. Flutter.io. Google Flutter. You DuckDuckGo'd Flutter. Yeah. Build beautiful native apps in record time. Okay. And it's using Dart, huh? Neat. I'll have to take a look at this. I want to finish what I was working on here with this. Let's reset our migrations. I think Smab was on the right path there. Let's delete these. We can always reset them from source control. The alter column, when I don't have a live DB, I need to worry about migrating. Yeah. No, Wampa, that looks pretty neat. Alright, so now let's generate those SDKs. So I'm going to go, and let's not give it that crazy stupid. Let's call it that stupid name that I gave it. Let's call this initialize. Well, that didn't work. .NET EF migrations. Context. Oh, we had to put the context at the end. Application DB context. I know that's hiding behind Karnak. There we go. I must be thinking too much into microservices. Can you make a shout out to Germany? Guten Nachmittag, Deutschland. Great to see you. Thanks for saying hello there. Is that Dangeheimer fan? All right. 110 folks following us, watching right now. That's awesome. So now we should have that new the article should only know which author wrote it. The authorization should only check whether the author matches the ID of the current user. Yes. Yes. So now if we open up migrations, let me come back to your question, Yellow Cat. So my initialize now, create table articles, create table comments, and it puts the primary key on articles, puts a primary key on comments, and a foreign key to the article. And then look at that, insert data, and it creates the default homepage. So cool. All right, so now if I go back here, right? Let me get rid of the current WikiDB that's there. And now if I run .NET EF database update, so this is the command you run at the command line to update your database and apply the latest changes to it. And since we're using SQLite, it should just build it for me. And now, right, I have two database contexts here. If I had only one, it would just build it. But because I have two in my project, I need to specify which one it is. So it's application DB context. So -C and that command, and there we go. So it applied all of those changes, and now when I start, I should get my database built properly. So while that's launching, have you ever used aka.net? I have not. Would you recommend using it over Docker Kubernetes? I'm trying to create a scalable application and lack knowledge on the subject. I thought aka.net. hang on. It's a toolkit and runtime for building highly concurrent, distributed, fault-tolerant, event-driven. Yeah. It's the actor model, right? This is an application architecture that you use, where Docker and Kubernetes are a deployment technology. So if I understand correctly, and like I said, I haven't used this technology, Akka is how you're going to architect your application. How you deploy your application will be with Docker and Kubernetes. And Docker is a container technology that virtualizes and hosts your application. Kubernetes is an orchestration technology that will orchestrate your containers so that it knows whether they're up or down and all the different things that you may want to scale and do with running your application. If I understand Akka correctly, this will help trigger some of the software things you need to do around it. So I think you can use them together, Yellow Cat. All right. Now try adding the EF seeding. Well, I don't need to. It already was added. What if you do not have the option to blow out your existing database and want to add these type changes? What would be the steps to take? So if I had to make those changes, you could generate those scripts directly, right? So if I say .NET EF database update and we pass help, you can actually generate these scripts. Where is it? Framework configuration runtime. I thought there was a way to generate the scripts. Entity framework core generate SQL. There's a way to get that. The seeding for testing stuff like the grid view, performance, adding 1 million articles. How do I view the SQL generated? No. It's when I create the model, there's a way to get at it, and you can view it, but that's not what you're asking. The seeding for testing stuff. Then I would go around and I would do it the way that we were looking, where we were testing to see if the data exists and then adding it. It's on add, not update. So .NET EF migrations. There we go. Script. And then I can specify, if I just say script, I gotta specify the context. And it should dump it to the screen or something, right? There we go. So there's all my script, and I would run these by hand appropriately and drop it in there. Each new version gets better. Cool. That's good to know about SQLite. All right. We're almost at 1 o'clock. We're about 3 hours in here. Let me, the application's running. We have our one database context updated out here. I never even got into doing the authorization here today. No. We didn't change anything in there. Let's talk about the authorization policy. We never got to this. So I have those roles now in my database, right? So I wanted to talk about how do we create policies? How do we define, here's the policy for folks who are allowed to edit articles, right? So what I can do is I can start adding policies for ASP.NET Core to do this authorization, right? Authentication and authorization, two different things. And we've been spending a lot of time here getting our databases set up right so that we store our authentication information properly, right? Authentication is who am I, right? Who is the person logging in? Are they allowed to log in? And verifying their credentials. Authorization is, are you allowed to do these things, right? Am I granted access, granted permission to do these? So I'm going to add a policy, and we'll name this first one. Let's start off with the bottom. Administrators can delete articles. So let's call this can delete articles. And now I actually define the policy. So we'll say new policy, and then I can define, right, where is it? Is it new authorization policy? And then I can dot into it? No. Or is it policy? There was a cool way to do this. There we go. And now I can specify the information about it. Come on, format that nice. Right, so I can say, since it's administrators can delete, I can add for my policy that you're required to be an administrator. Right? Now, that's pretty simple. You know, we're just saying for this policy, you need to be in this role. So when we go over to figure out whether we can delete articles, I can actually take the name of this policy and put it on, if I go to my pages, and we go to delete, right? So here's the page for delete. Let me go over here, and on the actual class behind the scenes, I can say, right, isn't it authorize? And then I can specify the name of the policy that you're required in order to use this. So the policy was, let's grab the right name, can delete articles. If I paste that in there, now if you don't pass that policy, you can't view the delete page. Simple but hard-coded. The enforcement of the policy being hard-coded, I think, is a good thing. I would normally start a policy with policy.require authenticated user. Okay, that's not bad. Sure, we can start there. Require authenticated user. You won't get the role administrator unless you are authenticated, so that's fine. I can see enforcing both of those. But now, if I'm not an administrator, I won't be able to get into the delete page. So let's rerun and just show you that it does block that. How to apply the policy element in a Razor page. We'll take a look at that in just a second. So let me go back to here. All right, so, and I don't think I have any other articles because I nuked the database. Second article. Here is another article that I am going to attempt to delete. All right. Are those policies newish? I remember roles and claims, but never noticed those existed. They're part of ASP.NET Core, and they've been around since 1.0. So they're around. Now, if I go back to home, if I look at all articles and I try to click delete over here, it requires me to log in, right? So if I try to use another service, I'm going to log in as C# Fritz over there. I need my email over here, so we'll give it that email and register, and I do not have access. I'm not allowed to delete. because I'm not an administrator. So the first thing it did was it challenged and said, you must be authenticated. And then it routed me over here. Maybe you should cover the difference between roles and claims. I touched on that briefly earlier, Brave Cobra, but simply, a role is a piece of text, right? There's a name to a role that is applied to a group of users. And you can enforce the presence of a role, that somebody belongs to a role, throughout your application. But a claim is a property of a user or a role, and those claims, that's a security significant piece of data, right? Such as the examples I described were, I work in the Pennsylvania office. I'm a member of the developer division at Microsoft, right? Those are security specific things that might be important if we want to block people from the developer division from reading documents published by the Xbox community, right? I clearly don't belong in that community. There might be things there that they want to protect. So having that claim of in the developer division is something that we can exclude from folks being able to access if they're, they might be required to have the claim that they're in the Xbox community to see Xbox documents. I look at it like claims are one-to-many relationships to each role or user. Sure. Shouldn't policies be linked to claims instead of roles? They can be linked to both, and in fact, a role is just another type of claim. Right? A role is just another string that you've attached to it. So I have this authorize can delete articles, but it'd be nice if I didn't even output that delete button on the page, right? So how do you remove that? And I think that comes back to the question, who was it? I'm looking here. Certificate system on Azure. I'm not sure which certificate system are you referring to, Master Scripter. I thought it was somebody was asking how do you use it on a Razor page. There it is, EM triple. Right, there's, I forget what the name, authorize on a Razor. Let's call it a Razor view. There's a way to do this. It's not just user in role, but there's a way to check for a policy. Authorize page, so that's one way that you can do that. I like using the authorize filter because it keeps it right next to it. Anonymous access. No, where is it? There is. There is a policy. It's like a policy evaluator. I forget the name of it. HTTPS security certificates. You can get those. You can get a free certificate if you use just the straight Azure services. But if you want to apply your own, you want to buy a certificate from them, you can, or you can apply your own certificate. There's great support on Azure for Let's Encrypt certificates. Scott Hanselman had a nice blog post about using Let's Encrypt with Azure. Could the access denied come with image asset? Sure, we could put an access denied picture over there. A picture to go over on that page. A role is a built-in claim type. There you go. Yep. There's, oh shoot, what is it? It's like the policy evaluator, right? View-based authorization. Yeah, here it is. Authorization service, authorize async. That's what I'm looking for. So you need to include these. And I want to put that on, right, this is this grid here. I prefer to avoid those. Okay. Yeah, I forgot the authorization service is what I was forgetting. I've done this a couple times, but it's one of these things I configure once and forget about. Article row is what we're using here that has the articles there with the delete button. So let's add that using an inject directive, right? So these are directives that we put into our Razor templates, right? And the Razor template is just a way for us to mix C# code with HTML for formatting. So using, right, this is allowing me to shortcut my namespace, and I'm injecting. This is really cool. I'm injecting and saying, give me an authorization service and name it authorization service. This is registered with our dependency injection container in .NET. So it's available for you when you create an object if you just ask for it. You create a helper to simplify them? Yep, absolutely. Just like that article we were looking at earlier. So I'm going to wrap this block here with authorization service dot authorize async, and I want to check the current user, right, which is just user, because that's available on every Razor page. And then the policy that we want to check. Now, I've actually got a policy name to check, and it's can delete articles. I'll paste that in there. And it's not just that, but I want to say where is it? This is an async, so I need to await it, which means I need another parenthesis, and then I can say succeeded. All right, we'll output that link. Now, because all I did was modify that Razor page, and Razor pages are interpreted, I can refresh. Oh no! Razor view attribute. What did I do now? I done broked it. Wait a sec. It brought in the 211 stuff. Disable the button instead of not visible. Maybe with a tooltip. I can go either way on that. Exists in Razor 211 and in MVC Razor 211. Why do I have two of these? I'm gonna nuke my bin folder because it sure looks like I got two of them. And restart this. And there we go. Refresh. There we go. Now the delete button is gone. So to what Brave Cobra was suggesting, and it's not a bad idea. It whatever works for you. You're suggesting that we change this to a disabled button. Right, so maybe we do something like this. Right, and we don't want this to actually be linkable. So maybe we make it a span. Right, and it doesn't have those features. And you do not have permission to delete this article. Wow. That's weird. Why am I getting that on second refresh after I changed the Razor page? Holy crow. What the heck is it doing? Why does it think it's in .NET 1? Sorry. I had to nuke that bin folder. All right. So now if we look, now the delete button is there. but I can't click it. Now I should have it appear as disabled. So if we get rid of outline danger, button, is there disabled? Make it dark. Okay. That's new to me, how it's crapping out like that. Right, so now it's that dark blue. Is it possible to make a generic tag helper that'll work on all HTML elements? We can make a Fritz require claims attribute. Actually, a couple folks have built a tag helper for it. Add disabled. Ah, there we go. That's gonna die on me, isn't it? I don't get it. That should not be happening like that. Yeah, for some reason it thinks it has 2.1 and 2.1.1, and I thought I removed 2.1.1 from this. Alright, now it's not there at all. Let's take this and put it right there. Because this isn't going to reload properly. No. I don't know what that is. Bin, obj, goodbye. Let's force a restore here and see what's going on. Nope, it's not showing it. It's there, it's hidden. Yes, Severo, this is ASP.NET Core. Dark Therian, thank you for the follow. No, I don't. I'm going to remove the NuGet config so that it doesn't even know how to go get the 2.1.1 stuff. Right, 2.1.1 should not be listed here at all. It's not. Add button outline danger back into the class. Alright, let's do that. Where were we? Here. Alright. You're making me mad here. VC Fritz require claims. There is a feature out there. See, it's a span and it's not disabled. Right, and if I bring this in here. Oh, you stink. I don't know what's causing that. It's alright, it's a little bit grayed out. That's not bad. I'll take it, alright. I'm working in a project with ASP.NET Core 2, a particular project with Angular 6 user interface. Restart Visual Studio, you're saying? We'll give it a shot, why not? .NET Run Watch only runs when C# files change. Right, so that worked. Right, and if I published, edit, Hello, Moz. Nope, didn't work. But it's... for some reason, it's getting MVC Razor 211. Somewhere along the way here, it's picking it up. Even though I'm not referencing it. Oh, thank you for the follow, Severo. And it looks like we got another one. Fire CSGO. Very cool. Thank you, Fire. I appreciate the follow. Wait, hang on. I'm going to get to the bottom of this real quick here. So I'm on .NET Core App 2.10. And if I go down here, where is it? Well, ASP.NET Core is not in there. It's up here. And if we look at our references, ASP.NET Core App 2.10. So let's search for Razor. Okay, Razor 2.10. Razor 2.10, 2.10, 2.10. So we're all in on 2.1.0. There is no NuGet config here anymore that's telling it to install the 2.1.1 because I've removed that. Now it works. EM triple says this should work. I don't think. Nope. But somewhere, look, it's getting 2.1.1. And that's going to annoy the hell out of me. Trying to figure out where and why it's pulling in the wrong... Wait a sec. I don't want that there either. I wonder if that was it. Grab these, nuke it. Application is currently running, so we need to cancel. Alright. .NET run. Nah, it's not global JSON. Global JSON just tells the SDK, the command line, which version to use. NuGet config tells where to go get those various versions of things. So now if we refresh that, there's my content. Moz has a lead on fixing this. Nope. Nope. And it's still pointing to 2.1.1. Where is it getting that? Somewhere after the fact, it brought in 2.1.1. And it's got a conflict. And it's not working. I'm on dev. I'm on the dev branch. Bin debug .NET Core App 2.1. And if I look at nope, can't find 2.1.1 in here. There's ASP.NET Core 2.1.0, but somewhere along the way, it's jumping over. Yeah. And it's when I change the file, it's recompiling. right? I mean, there's the CS that it's writing when it rebuilds. And it's in rebuilding that one article row bit. I have no idea what I'm looking at. I mean, this is all the code that Razor generates for it. Razor view attribute article row. This right here. Why doesn't it fail on the others? Global NuGet clear cache. Yeah, I think you might be onto something. Isn't it .NET NuGet? There we go, clearing it. Fritz NuGet. Yeah. Alright, let's see if this works. Unable to delete one or more files. Interesting. Why not? It should now download all of those files. Yeah, it works there on the latest dev branch. There we go. Look at all that. Access to the path bundler minifier is denied. Is that because I have Visual Studio open? Yeah, there we go. All right, so now if I scroll up here and I look for... Look at that. That's 201. It's not 210. All right. .NET run. Okay. All right, so that works. Let's open a new. CoreWiki. And we were in article row, card body, here's a thing. Two one one. That's pretty messed up right there. .NET version is 21300. Yeah, this is a crazy one here, huh, Claire? So there is no other NuGet configs. And I should be able to say all failed to delete because the bundler minifier. Is that keeping it open over there? Wrong button. Here we go. So it's cleared out everywhere that there's a cache. It's definitely happening when I build. So if I do a .NET build, Twitch Chuck D. Now is that Chuck D from Run DMC? Thanks for the follow. I appreciate that. Well, they might not be able to fix this, might be able to point me in the right direction. But what gets me is when I look at this, this is 201 that it's installing, right? There's Razor Pages 201 it installed. It's not the version I requested. No, there's nothing that requires 211. Nothing. If I .NET, oh, Chuck D was Public Enemy. You're right. I've got my 80s rap groups backwards. Okay, so it works the first time, and I can refresh, and no big deal. Go back into Visual Studio Code. Feels bad, man. And it's... where is it finding that? I've clearly removed this from the entire system. What if I just pushed a 211? No, 211 isn't released yet. Now I really want to get this thing figured out. Let's put this back in. .NET add NuGet config. No, .NET new. Let's try and force everything to 211. 211. Preview. Right, and take out the 210 stuff entirely. Okay, so now I have a NuGet config. Let me go to my project file. Where is it? Not you. Not you. That file. Alright, so we'll change this to 211, 211, 211. Good. Kill that. Let's .NET restore. I get your git diff. Give me just a second here. Let's see what this does. So it's running. Okay, that loads, looks fine. Article row. Chuck D is in public enemy. That worked. You've got faith. All right. Now I'm going to run a git diff. Right, let's do a git, not a log. Q. Git status. Got all those files that I deleted. But let's git diff CoreWiki csproj. So it's the 2.1.1 stuff, including the migration folder. So the only change really there was the migrations folder being added. And I'm okay with that. That shouldn't have caused a problem. We got authorization working here today. We saw an interesting problem with the 2.1.1 migration, probably because I started doing a preview with some of that stuff. Can you make the change in Visual Studio to the page to see if VS Code? Maybe a bug while not in the 3.1.1 SDK. The 3.01 SDK, I'm in the 300. So, yeah. Right, and yes, this is the 3.01 SDK, but it's in 300 mode. It's not using any of the 3.01 version stuff. Right. There is a global JSON here pointing to 300. Right, if we put it into 3.01 mode, right, so global JSON is a way for us to specify the version of the SDK, the command line tool that we're using. And you can change the version of it by putting a global JSON file somewhere on disk. And all the folders underneath of that will use that version. So if I do a .NET, it's already running over here. Not got, .NET run. I love a good mystery. I know! But when it comes to code, I hate mysteries. Alright, so now we'll come back over. Here's the latest changes. Refresh, loads properly. I'll go back into here. And Claire loves a good mystery. And refresh. And it works. So all I've done is upgrade to the 2.1.1 preview, and it works. I'm going to leave it like that. Because right now, it works. You know? I'm running the 3.01 binaries. It's just the libraries used. Right. Right. So, let's call it a day here. Let's wrap up what we've got and talk about what's coming up in the coming. Yes, now Claire is in the code. Oh, shoot. Claire is in the code. No offense, Claire, but let's get that fixed. Alright. Updated to 2.1.1 and added a delete policy for articles. Alright, so we can add more. You're in the code! Is that like that scene from Zoolander? It's in the computer. Don't want that responsibility. So I'm going to push this to my origin, and I will call the branch up there feature authorization, and I'll give it a -u so that I track that branch up there. And we can continue working on adding some of these other policies and building that out. So everything's cleaned up, everything's committed to GitHub. This was a long, almost 3.5 hours here that we were working together today. But I'm thrilled with what we were able to accomplish. We merged a couple of pull requests. Let's see if we can force the scoreboard to refresh and get updated with some of our friends' commits. There we go. There's Parathon with the commit on Stream Tools this week. I want to make sure that everybody gets credit for contributing here, and it shows up on the scoreboard. I need to learn Git better. Once you get past the little bit of the basics, committing and adding things, we did a video with Sarah Ford. She used to work for GitHub. She's working for Microsoft now, but it was part of that same C# workshop. And we talked about some of the trouble that people get into when they're using Git. Check it out. There's some good tips there from Sarah as part of that. So thanks so much, everybody, for joining me here today. I'm going to, of course, as always, archive off this video, and we'll send it over to the YouTube archive, youtube.com/C#Fritz. You'll find it over there. Some really good tips over there. Check it out. Check it out. Oh my gosh, KDC 4966. Thank you for the follow. We're wrapping up here, but we're actually going to set up for a raid in just a minute. It was fun. Thanks. Well, thank you, Claire. Ship it. Yes, let's do that. Some F# goodness from Lena. All right, that's great. So we'll archive off today's video. And Tuesday, I hope you join me. My guest will be Amanda Iverson. Gosh, every time I say Amanda's name, I think of number 3 for the Sixers. And I want to grab that clip from the in-arena announcer, the way that he says Allen Iverson, and grab that for that day. Check it out. Yeah, check it out. So, Nordic names could be hard for American. Yeah, I'd believe it. Let's figure out who we want to raid here. You know, thank you everybody, all of our new followers, all of the folks viewing here today. 95 folks viewing right now. That is awesome. Let's head over to Twitch and let's see who's doing a programming stream that we can jump on here. Maybe a creative stream that we can check out and have folks join in on. Let's do some startup work, creating an operating system. Here's Code Artistic Ninja. We joined him the other day. I think... Is Node Botanist? A lot of people doing paintings and drawings. I don't see... Node Botanist was talking about streaming here on... Nope, offline. They were talking about doing some streaming on the weekend afternoons. It looks like they're not going right now. Because I want to really connect up with another programmer. Oh, here we go. Live animation mentoring. No, I don't see anybody programming. 3D app development. That might be cool. Check out all this really great stuff going on right now on Twitch. Let's see. 3D app development. That might be cool. But I really want to help the programming folks over here. Who is this? Adventures in Programming. Let's take a look over there. Here we go. Let's go over to Adventures in Programming. So you can stick around, let them know that we're coming over to join. Thanks so much, everybody, for tuning in. And I hope you enjoy Adventures in Programming. Thanks so much for hanging out with me. I'll see you later.